From the national newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Karen Rebo. There is a threat of a postal strike by the end of this work week. The Canadian Union of Postal Workers has issued a 72-hour strike notice now to Canada Post for both the union's urban and rural bargaining units. In a release early this morning, the union says workers will be legally allowed to strike as of Friday, November 15th, if negotiated settlements have not been reached. Contract talks have been going on for nearly a year, and the union has been given a strong strike mandate from workers. CUPW notes while notice has been given, its National Executive Board has not yet determined whether job action will take place immediately. It says that will depend on Canada Post's actions at the bargaining table in the coming days. Lockouts continue to affect some of this country's largest ports.
A statement from Federal Labour Minister Stephen McKinnon's office says both sides in the BC port dispute need to get back to the bargaining table, as do those at the dispute in the Port of Montreal. The lockout at BC container terminals started last Monday after the BC Maritime Employers Association said unionized longshore workers began strike activity. The union says its plan was only for an overtime ban and a refusal to implement automation technology. It calls the province-wide lockout a reckless overreaction. Meantime, the Maritime Employers Association made good on a threat to lock out nearly 1,200 longshore workers at the Port of Montreal Sunday night for not taking what employers called a final contract offer. David Bowles, The Canadian Press.
Many of Canada's small businesses want the federal carbon tax to vaporize. In a letter to Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland last week, the Canadian Federation of Independent Business writes that members want the levy gone after learning that the carbon rebate for small businesses is a taxable benefit. President Dan Kelly says the decision to tax the rebates is deeply offensive to small businesses. In a news release today, the CFIB adds the Canada Revenue Agency previously issued an interpretation that the benefit would not be taxable, but the Finance Department had a different interpretation. As Toronto gears up for sold-out Taylor Swift shows at Rogers Centre this week and next, some crowd management and planning experts are suggesting extra steps be taken to ensure safety in the city as thousands head downtown.
Are you ready for it?
The city has already announced several traffic restrictions and security measures ahead of the pop superstar's Eras tour stops. Toronto could see up to 500,000 visitors during Taylor Swift's 6 concert dates. Kevin Kennedy of Kennedy Crowd Safety Solutions says people headed downtown on those days should be aware of crowd dynamics, as the density and movement of crowds can shift quickly. Pay attention to directions from police and traffic agents, and parents should communicate safety plans with their kids before they head out.
No one has to know what we do.
This is the Canadian Press. In sports, the Montreal Canadiens' 6-game losing streak is over. The Habs beat the Buffalo Sabres 7-5 last night. Cole Caulfield and Nick Suzuki each scored twice. Caulfield's 2 put him at a league-leading 12 goals on the season. Elsewhere, the Calgary Flames scored a gritty 3-1 victory over the LA Kings. Monday Night Football saw the Miami Dolphins snap their 3-game losing streak with a 23-15 victory over the host LA Rams. The Milwaukee Bucks will play the visiting Toronto Raptors tonight without all-star guard Damian Lillard. Lillard was placed into NBA concussion protocol yesterday. Bucks are already without 3-time all-star forward Chris Middleton. The 2-9 Raptors have lost 4 straight. Canadian Shai Gilgeous-Alexander scored a career-high 45 points, and the Oklahoma City Thunder beat the Clippers. And the Cleveland Cavaliers beat the Chicago Bulls last night to become the 8th team to begin a season with 12 straight wins. From the Canadian Press, I'm Karen Rebo.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.